Hi everybody, it's Dandruff with your news Cartridge for Thursday, October 20th, 2016. I know what you all want to talk about. I want to talk about it too, but we've got a format, people. We've got to stick to it. Today begins with Overwatch and the changes coming to the public test realm. Surprisingly enough, Symmetra will not be seeing any changes just yet, and this is after Blizzard said she was going to get a complete overhaul. And PS4 will soon be getting a tournament feature, which will have backing by the ESL Esports League. And because of, well, other news, all we have left today is release announcements, beginning with the delay of Star Trek Bridge Crew. It will not release on November 29th as previously intended, but now next year on March 14th. Hi-Res Studios have announced a spin-off of their game Smite in a free-to-play strategy game called Smite Tactics. It should be coming later this year. Three Fields Entertainment, the makers of Burnout, are announcing a VR game called Lethal VR. It's set to debut later this year as well, and it's published by Team 17. The Silver Case by Studio Suda51, originally released only in Japan for PlayStation, is getting ported to PS4. My Summer Car is a survival game about rebuilding and maintaining a car, and alcohol may or may not be involved. Coming to Steam's Early Access next week. The Division is getting updated to 1.4 on October 25th. The patch notes are huge, and you can find a link to them down below in the description, as well as links for sources for all of today's stories. Also coming with an update is Doom, but no specific release date was given. Two games are starting their Halloween events: Black Desert Online, celebrating with a horse racing mode, and Battlerite, which is adding 2 additional champions. If you're looking for a game to play during the Halloween season, Hide and Shriek releases on October 25th, and it has a new trailer out. Ubisoft has their first VR game out today called Eagle Flight VR. You may remember it from E3 earlier this year. And finally, for teasers, Half-Life 2 is now available via backwards compatibility on Xbox One. Insert joke that's been beaten into the ground with Half-Life 3 in it here. Well, now that that's over, let's talk about the Nintendo Switch and the Red Dead Redemption 2 trailer next on News Cartridge. Alright, let's get into it. The Nintendo Switch, codenamed the Nintendo NX, has finally been revealed, and please, let's hope it has been worth the wait. First things first, if you haven't seen this trailer, please go to the description down below and watch it. Nintendo is great at showcasing the capabilities of their console through film. What they didn't show was what's inside, and of course, the first thing we're going to talk about is hardware. The Switch will be powered by an NVIDIA Tegra GPU. Now, what's interesting is this is the first console since the PS3 that will use NVIDIA technology over AMD. The Wii, the Wii U, Xbox One, and PS4 all use AMD graphics processors. And I'm not able to confirm this, but rumor has it the system itself will have a full 1080p screen whose manufacturer is currently unknown. Its home dock appears to have 2 different charging ports, one to protect the screen and the other exposing the screen for the ability to play on it. And while not playing on it, games will allegedly downscale to 720p in order to save on battery life. Battery life was one thing that was not mentioned at all, and if this thing does not get 2 to 3 hours of playtime while not on its base, then using it for travel is going to be pretty pointless. Bringing us to the most notable feature, sliding the 2 controllers onto the sides of the console, giving it full portability. The controllers are very interesting, with the ability to play on their own home dock, which kind of looks like a sad cross-eyed puppy dog, or the option to play with 1 controller in each hand separately. And then 2 players can share 1 controller each and still be able to play simpler games. Although it's questionable how small those controllers are, and people with smaller hands like myself might find it comfortable, but people with larger hands may not be able to use this feature at all. Yet another controller, the Switch Pro, was seen, and looking even more like an Xbox 360 controller, it will be Nintendo's next iteration. One thing that was not shown and many people are still asking questions about are touchscreen capability and motion controls. A stylus was not shown, nor was touching the screen in any way, and orientation of the controllers did not seem to have an effect on gameplay, so it could be possibly true that Nintendo has moved away from their beloved motion controls. One thing is very clear, they've gone back to, or at the very least have expanded on, the use of cartridges, making my show even more relevant. Yay for me! Nintendo has cited a huge list of publishers they have already partnered with, which are in the process of producing Switch games. During the last few generations, Nintendo has had issues with third-party support, but now publishers like EA, Bethesda, Platinum, Sega, Atlus, Ubisoft, all very familiar companies, will once again, or for the very first time, be producing games for a Nintendo platform. Finally, if you're looking for what games have been confirmed, the list is rather short, but The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wind, which has been confirmed, has a new trailer Burnout, and from the Switch launch trailer we saw earlier, a new 3D Mario game seems to be in the works. I couldn't find anything confirming pricing, but the rumor is it will be around $299 US, and at that price point, Nintendo could do away with their 3DS lineup altogether, which really wouldn't surprise me given how successful Nintendo's handheld market has been, especially compared to their home console market. If you like this story, and I don't ask this often, but I poured my heart and soul into this, please hit that like button if you liked it and subscribe if you haven't already. For more on the Nintendo Switch, please stay tuned to News Cartridge, as this is just the beginning and there is a whole lot more to come. Up next, one I'm going to try to be happy for and just hope that it comes to PC. Right away I'm going to tell you Rockstar did not add PC as a platform for Redemption 2. But holy hell, it's pretty. The trailer is only a minute long and no real information about the game is given. You just see a bunch of really pretty sets with no context. Everything about it is visually stunning, and my overall impression of the game is that it will be very impressive. But because it involves elements of shooting, I refuse to play it with a controller, and I will wait for it to come to PC, hopefully at some point. What do you think of the Red Dead Redemption 2 trailer? Let me know in the comment section down below. In the quick spot today is a bug I find hilarious. Now, as far as I know, this is only affecting the PS4 version of Battlefield 1. The game uses dynamic resolution technology to raise and lower the rendered resolution depending on how much is going on the screen. The reason it does this is to keep the frame rate up even while tons of action is going on. However, it will compensate so much, it will drop the resolution down to 160 by 90. And no, I'm not reading my script wrong, 160 pixels by 90 pixels, less than 1/10 the resolution of 1080p. Thankfully, it only does this briefly, and I'm not sure if EA will patch this, or we'll find out it's actually a feature. Finally today, an egregious example of copyright abuse on YouTube, at least in my opinion. Last week in the intro, I mentioned a mod for GTA 5 that turned remote mines into Samsung Galaxy Note 7s, in light of the recent recall because the phone is having issues exploding. It's the classic definition of a joke. A video made by the creator of the mod has had it DMCA claimed by Samsung for the use of their Samsung logo. The two sides of this are Samsung owns their logo and therefore are well within their rights because it's their intellectual property, and the other is the mod qualifies as fair use because it's obviously a parody and fits the exact definition of satire. And using a logo is absolutely permitted within the laws of fair use. It's why I can show you this Samsung logo and not be... Come on, I've done this joke before. In all seriousness, fair use is the reason why I can show you this logo, as long as it's relevant to what I'm talking about, and I don't even have to ask them to do it. Personally, I do not believe Samsung has any jurisdiction over someone else's YouTube video, and this is one more example of how YouTube's copyright system continues to be abused and needs reformation. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comment section down below. Oh boy, it's time for tomorrow's game releases. For PC, Sid Meier's Civilization 6, GravLab, Gravitational Testing Facility and Observations, The Bellows, Off Peak, Max Stern, War 7, Pumpkin Sculptor VR, Fine China, Violet Haunted, 12 Orbits, Unearthing Colossal, The Puppet Master, Crown Champion, Legends of the Arena, Awkward Dimensions Redux, and The Cooking Game. For Xbox One, Horse Racing 2016, and for Nintendo Wii U, Shooting Range by Thornberry Software. Thank you very much, everybody. This has been News Cartridge. I am Dandruff. I will see you tomorrow. And I went to the doctor with hearing problems. He said, "Can you describe the symptoms?" I said, "Sure. Homer's fat and Marge has blue hair."